also on the roster the first year. Could it have been that he didn't have any good options on the roster?
Okay, so that's an excellent question. That's an excellent question. But let me ask you this: did you put anybody else in to find out? See, we could do that all day, because if you don't put another player in to find out what he can do, we won't know what he'll do. That's just like Bubba. Bubba came in last year in the championship game, and what did he do?
I think
Go
ahead, Coach Cole is speaking. Go ahead, Coach.
I think what the
okay, I'm sorry, I didn't know Coach Cole speak.
No, you state what the caller is saying is you got to come up with something else. You got to say what you just said, Rocky. If this is the quarterback I want, first of all, I don't think Coach Dooley or any other coach gonna leave a kid in and want to lose. And if you do, you end up like this. I think if that question that you just asked, Rocky, was true, it takes more than just the quarterback. Most quarterbacks have good people around them that really make them who they are. So, like you said, that maybe Coach could have shared some things of saying, hey, guys, I get you. You guys are blaming on the quarterback, because that's why they pay the quarterback all the money, and he get all the PR. But if he don't have good people around him, he's just a guy. And like I said, me and you talk all the time, Rocky, that it's about the team. I've never seen a game with 11 and then one guy walk out there.
Can I if
he would have been shared with the fans, hey, it ain't just the quarterback. Offensive line is young, wide receivers ain't getting it done. But if not, sometimes you got to make that change.
Okay, I agree with that last part you stated. But let me say this here too. I know you have 10 other players on the offensive line, on the offense. Yes. But if you have a line, even though they were young, they gave him protection at plenty of times. Still couldn't throw the ball the right way. So whose fault is that then?
Well, I'm gonna agree with you right now, because like what I believe in, Rocky, them W's and L's on them.
Yeah. Your resume is your record. So there's nowhere around it. Hey, caller, I want to thank you for calling in, man. And we're gonna go on to the next caller.
It, man. Y'all have a good one.
You too, caller, with the last four of 3408. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Johnnie Cole. What's your name and where you calling from?
Theodore Johnson, calling from Pineville, Louisiana. And I just want to thank Coach Dooley, good godly man, and I appreciate what he done at Southern. And being honest with you, at the end of the day, I don't think nobody advances from finding a coach. Now you owe Dooley. It's like we're going backwards. And whatever we got to pay Dooley, I think that money could have been put toward making the facilities better, where that we can attract better players that can give coaches like what Dooley wanted to do. They got the speed to get off the line, because you have to have players with the speed to really do what he want to do. We can get a good quarterback if we got the right facilities, and now you got to have some money to pay the players. But from my understanding, all the money we spending to get rid of Dooley and get a new coach, I think that could have been given to better facilities.
Hey,
and now you go backwards. Now you're going to get really behind in money.
Hey, Theodore, maybe there's there's some big donor out there that's going to just buy Dooley out, and you guys could just move on with a clean slate and a full pocketbook with your next coach.
Even if it's a donor, that if you still don't have the right facilities, you don't have the right money to get out and recruit. Even if you're a big donor, that money is still better spent somewhere else than after you spent. You got to have that money to recruit, that money to get the right facilities, the rooms, these new rooms they got with the recliners and the TVs. And, I went to Southern. I don't think we got that.
Well, let me, last thing, Theodore.
But we got to have, we got to upgrade.
Well, Theodore, let me say this. Would you be willing to accept?
We can be number one.
Theodore, let me ask you a question before I let you go. would you be willing to accept another 6-5 season just for the sake of not paying Dooley?
But I will tell you this. I've been to Southern. I went there in 85. If I know you're going to do right with the money, and it was before I came, and I looked at some history, but if I know that they're going to do right with the money, I'll take 2 of them. Because I know they're going to be spending money where they need to be spending it, bringing up the facilities, bringing up the recruitment, bringing up the athletics, because that's what we want, a good athletic department. If I know they're going to do right.
Well, let me say this. I worked at Southern University. I was down there 3.5 years under Pete. I worked there under Pete Richardson. Mm-hmm. He had 17 seasons there where he only had 1 losing season. And they made a whole bunch of money. And I understand this about Southern University. They depend on that football program to raise money to help fund that whole athletic program. And you got a coach with 17 winning seasons, 5 SWAC championships. I'm going to ask you, where's the money? Because you said something like, if I knew they was going to do right by the money. So money ain't the issue. Southern has money running through there. You know, you got your Bayou Classic, the big money, you got your homecoming.
A guy put online the other day, I ain't fact check it or nothing, but a guy put it online the other day where he showed that USL and USM and Southern, they both got 20 million.
Yeah. So it ain't about the money. The money comes with winning. You know, let's the University of Miami is because they had championships. Notre Dame is Notre Dame because of football. You know what I mean? Texas A&M just got rid of a coach and gave him $76 million to just leave because he ain't doing what, Rocky? He ain't doing what? He ain't winning.
W's.
They gave him 7. So you know what they said? They said that if we got a winning coach, we can make them $76 million up in 2 or 3 games and pay him off and keep on going. Southern is in the same predicament. You got to have a winner at Southern because they depend on that football program to bring in at least $2 to $3 million a year.
Hey, caller, with the last 4, 3454, you're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Johnny Cole. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, Rocky, this is Mr. Sargent. How are you doing, brother?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Sargent? Thank you for calling in, sir.
He's back.
Oh, absolutely. You know, when I saw that you were going to have Coach Dooley on, you know, I upgraded my questions because, you know, I like to be on off script, like to make some jokes, like to have Scotty, like to be funny, I should say. Scotty keeps it that way because that's kind of the spirit of the way things are going. But when you brought Coach Dooley on, I myself as a man with a family, with kids, you know, I support them because I work. You know what I'm saying? I completely understand what you were saying about wanting to make sure we were respectful in our questions, you know, with Coach Dooley. But I was really hoping to kind of drill down on the question you asked him about whether or not he would take a PWC opportunity. Because, again, I work for a corporation, but there are 400 corporations, and those are just the big blue corporations, like the humongous, you know, $1 billion companies. But there are all these other small companies as well. And so if I were to lose my job here, I wouldn't just be open to the 400. I would look for all the small ones, too, as long as they made my salary requirements, right? We have a theory here at FAMU that says that we are tired of doing more with less. We want to do more with enough. And then our future state is to do more with more. And so I just wanted to hear Dooley say, hey, if I got an opportunity at a university to be the head coach and they had more in facilities, more money, more fan support, he would turn that down to take a SWAC job or a MEAC job. And of course, Rocky, that's not to undercut those positions, but I wanted to kind of understand his mentality about that. And so that was really the statement I wanted to make Great show, sir. I just wanted to drill down a little bit more on those questions. I didn't want to be disrespectful to Dooley, and if I came up that way, you have my sincere apologies, Rocky.
No. And the reason why I asked that question is because I remember him in another interview saying that his passion is in the HBCU space, and my question was to see if that's changed because of his recent firing, and it didn't seem like it had. You know what I mean? He was a coach that was, you know, when he had a job, he said he was committed to coaching in the HBCU space, and he pretty much says pretty much the same thing. He said, I'm open. He said, I'm a football coach, but you know, we all got the message that his preference is to coach in the HBCU space, and I respect that.
Well, let me say this too, guys. You know, it's almost the thing of, you know, I'm feeling some wet on my pants, and you look up and the guy tell you it's raining, but he really peeing on you. Let me tell you the truth. Some of us, and especially me, I finished in '85. You wasn't going to no PWI schools. You know, let's talk about facts here. Let's talk about what's real. You know, when you got 95%, 96% of all athletic directors in all the college sports are Caucasian, they gonna hire themselves. You got colleges in America in football that has never even hired a black guy. When we all know from the 70s all the way up to now that over 70% of your team is African American. So when he says that, I can feel what he's saying. And I've always tell you all the time, Rocky, how many jobs we got to go after? 20. We got to go after 20 Division I AA jobs. And now we can go after those Division II jobs. Look at the Lone Star Conference. They just hired the first black coach about 5 or 6 years ago. This team out of Incarnate Word. All right. They're making some changes. But our window of going to a PWI is small. It's short. It's, you know, the window is short. So what we do, right? And we open up the show talking about how we cut each other, you know, because everybody knows that when a job opens, everybody gonna cut down the lead horse, or if you ain't my guy. So we gonna dig and we gonna find what's wrong with this guy. What's wrong with this guy? So when he made that statement, I feel him, you know, because, you know, I even feel sometimes there's a window a glass ceiling over my head. And I've coached with John Harbaugh at the Baltimore Ravens. You know, I've got guys that's up there, but the problem is when they get there, do they reach back?
Hey, Coach, we got several callers on the line. We see people calling in and then dropping off. If you call in, we got several people on the line. Just stay on hold. We'll get to you. Caller with the last 49178. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Johnnie Cole. What's your name and where you calling from?
How you doing? My name's Coach B. I'm calling from Florida. How you doing, Johnnie Cole and Rocky?
Yeah, hey, how you
What's
doing,
going
buddy?
on?
I'm doing okay, man. Hey, man, I appreciate the show, man. I do listen to all the script. But, man, like Johnnie Cole was saying earlier, you got to bear with me now because I kind of stutter.
Okay.
Like Johnnie Cole was saying, when you lose a game, you look at two people, the head coach and the quarterback. But like Johnnie Cole was also saying, you need everything in place. The dude is the head coach. You got to have an offensive coordinator, O-line coach, running back coach, and receiver coach. In order to compete, whether it's SWAC, REAC. In football, you got to have position coaches. College will be a place where you're supposed to learn. Yeah. Coaches supposed to be teaching kids. Look at the kids already. Tom Brady made a statement about something today. I read he was saying about coaches. It's a coaches shortage. Good coaches like Dooley, and they ain't got SWAC championship. They got to come for something. I think his record is 5-5, 12-10. That's the winning coach.
Well,
That's all I have to say, man. That's a winning coach.
I'll say this. You're right. It is a winning coach. However, the fan base was very unhappy with Coach Dooley, and they were very vocal. And as a athletic director, and your livelihood and your program's livelihood is dependent on support from your fans and your donors, can you stick with an unpopular coach, understanding that your primary job as a AD is a fundraiser, and you holding on to that coach will prevent you from fundraising because of an unhappy fan base? What do you do at that point?
Right. Yeah, let's go answer. Go on
Let's
with
let's go to the next caller. Caller with the last four of 5899. You're live on HBCU Coach's Corner with Johnnie Cole. What's your name and where you calling from?
Jay from Baton Rouge. Rock, I'd like to thank you. You say you're new to the HBCU world of sports, and I hope thousands and millions of African Americans such as yourself come on home and support HBCU football. Coach Cole, I'd like to ask you.
Hey, are you on speakerphone?
Yes, sir.
Can you take it off speaker and put it up to your ear, because there's a distortion that we barely can understand what you're saying.
Now, Coach Cole, I'd like to ask you, sometimes in the media, some people say the SWAC need to go outside and hire coaches that's not of the SWAC. But sometimes those black coaches at those PWIs look down at the HBCUs more worse than the white coaches. They love being in that white environment at PWIs, and they think that coming to an HBCU is somewhat lowering the standards of coaching football. I'd like to get your take on that. Thank you.
Yeah. And this is the bad part about what he just said. He's so true about it. And then when they come in, we open up the pocketbook. Then they'll come in for 3 to 5 years, don't win no football games. And then when they leave, they go talk about what they didn't have and didn't have. HBCUs, and I feel that our schools should be for HBCU guys. And you can find, and back in the 80s, in the 90s, we didn't have this turnover. We talked about this about 2 shows ago in our conference. We had great coaches, they had a lot of trees. Eddie Robinson, of course, stayed a long time. W.C. Gordon. All these guys had guys that had trees. Now you don't even know where those assistant coaches are at. Comegy had James Woody. L.C. Cole had a buffalo of guys. I got a tree. You don't even see none of these guys. All these other guys are popping up out of nowhere, and they're not prepared. They're not been prepared to coach at a HBCU. It's more than about the X's and O's and the Jimmy and Joes. It's about housing. It's about financial aid. It's about a hug. It's about going out and finding sponsorship. It's about trying to turn the program around. We're giving these guys keys to our fancy cars. We're asking a guy to leave a mansion and come to the project and turn this project around. No, there's a kid or man that's grew up in that project to know exactly what that project needs to be turned around. But because he don't have PWI ties and we just for some reason, Rocky, don't like each other for some reason. Or I should say don't have the confidence to hand the keys over and say, okay, build this.
Well, I think sometimes, and we suffer from this as an entrepreneur, we suffer from this when we're marketing to our own people. Sometimes they just think Whitey's ice is colder for whatever reason. And that's just the facts. But I don't think you give up on your people. I think you continue to market your people. You should continue to solicit business from your people, because at the end of the day, the reason why my wife and I have been in business over 20 years is because of guys like you and your family, Coach Cole, supporting us year after year. That's why we're in business, and we don't ever take that for granted. Let's go ahead and go over our picks, Coach Cole.
Yeah.
Go over our picks. Y'all can continue to call in. We're gonna after our picks, we're gonna take your calls though. But
okay, we're gonna shoot through it, Rocky. We're gonna
okay.
shoot through it.
Yeah, we don't have we can go review through these games and then we can get to talking about our review and then we can move on. Hey, if anything strikes y'all want to call in and talk about it, just go ahead and call in and we'll take your call. Okay. First
Alcorn State, Jackson State is a prime reason why our conference is not where it should be. I really feel there's no attacking, no coach. We got to get better. We got to be better. Alcorn, you lose to Texas Southern, who's had 5 losing seasons. Yeah, one game to win a championship, you don't win it. Then you come back the next week and beat a good, solid Jackson State team. You know, T.C. Taylor done a great job there with all the transfers and moving around. I got it, man. My hat go off to T.C. Taylor. He's done a great job over there at Jackson State with losing a lot of players and losing a lot of things. You know,
what Coach? What surprised me about this game is 2 things, Coach. That really, with nothing on the line for Jackson State, the stadium was packed. The stadium was packed.
Well, I gotta give you a little history, Rocky. Just slow up, buddy. Slow up, buddy. This the Soul Bowl, baby. This the Mississippi Super Bowl, Coach. You know what I'm saying? I can remember a time when Alcorn State was going up in there in Jackson State with a guy named Jerry Rice and Willie Totten. Coach, they had 66,000 people were sitting in the aisleways.
I think they went to Mississippi Valley, Coach.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mississippi Valley and Jackson State. But that's the Mecca, baby. That's Mississippi football right there. That's catfish, barbecue, all that good stuff. But look, man, that's hey, look, Jackson State always been one of the best attended schools in the country.
Okay, and then coming off and it brings back your alma mater because I'm gonna go ahead and bring those guys up.
Let's talk about them later because I need to talk about them for a minute.
Okay.
We don't come back to them.
Let's move into a game. I'm sorry, this score is wrong right here. So my apologies. Prairie View defeated Alabama State. Let me see if I got it on there right somewhere. Well, I don't have the score on there right. Anyway. Yeah, Prairie View defeated Alabama State 21-14 with everything on the line. Coach Bubba McDowell hosting Alabama State. They defeated Alabama State, and for the most part, they had control of the game the entire time. It was no letdown. The intensity was high. I was very impressed with how they came out and played with everything on the line, Coach, against a very formidable Alabama State team.
I take my hat off to Bubba McDowell on having them ready and prepared, number one. You know, and Alabama State has been struggling all year offensively. And you got to score points on this level, on the FCS level. You got to score points, you know, and Alabama State has been struggling all year. You know, I think they maybe average close to probably 17, 16 points a game. And they had a great defense. And you ain't going to have a great defense all the time. You know, hopefully they're not losing a lot of people on defense. And they got a year to get this offense going in the right direction. Hat off to Prairie View. You know, you got the big game coming, the SWAC championship game coming this coming week. Hat off to Bubba McDowell and his staff.
Okay, Coach. I got a chance to peek in at this game, and the score really surprises me. Florida A&M defeated Bethune-Cookman 24-7, but it looked like FAMU was sleepwalking the entire game in the Florida Classic. I dare say if they play against a motivated Prairie View team the same way they played against Bethune-Cookman, they may be in for an upset at Bragg Stadium. What did you think about the game, Coach?
You know, I've been watching Florida A&M coming down to the end. I don't know if they just taking everybody lightly. They just not playing good championship football. You know, and I don't want to say the conference is bad because they kind of walked through the conference. You know, it was like, you know, we've only lost to Jackson State the last 2 games in this conference. So now that Prime is gone, we just gonna walk through it, and they did exactly that. So I don't know, I don't want to say the conference is bad, but they just not playing what you would think at 10-1, that kind of football. And I know coach is saying the same thing I'm saying. But this game, Florida A&M, Bethune-Cookman, Orange Blossom City Classic, you can throw the records out. Both teams gonna play hard. But I'm like you, Coach Simmons got to get them kids up and ready to go. Because Prairie View gonna come down there ready to play.
With it all on the line, Coach. With it all on the line, Coach. I have to go back to Texas Southern, and they beat Alcorn State.
Look, Coach. Look. Yeah, Coach. Go ahead.
They go into the fourth quarter with a 21-point lead, Coach. They go into the fourth quarter with a 21-point lead, and somehow at the end of the game, they end up on the short end of the stick, losing 35-34 to a team who hadn't beat a Division I team the entire year. How does that happen, Coach? Coming off such a big win.
Well, Coach, I'm supposed to be the expert on the show. And some of these things just don't happen to me. Some of these things I can't explain, Coach. I have been that one team to come back now. And that means that I've made some adjustments at halftime. What you're doing, you're not making adjustments. I know that I'm going to encourage my kids to play because I know you're going to make mistakes down the road. And, a broken tackle here, it probably wouldn't have been that way, and that's what I could just say. Coach McKinney has to have those kids ready to go when you're already walking on crackers. And I think that kind of broke the camel's back. That was just embarrassing. It was just embarrassing, Coach, really. I just have to say that.
And, Coach, just to go through these games right here, Howard looked like they're going to the Celebration Bowl for the first time ever. I know Jay Walker is going to be really happy about that.
Yes.
And
yes,
NCCU did what we thought they would do against Delaware.
Well, we hoping that NCCU get a bid to the playoffs.
South Carolina State dominated Norfolk. Coach Odoms is really having a tough time in that league.
Now I hear some rumblings down there. They've been there 3 years. Been there 3 years. In 3 years, you don't supposed to go 3-8, do you, Coach?
Not in year 3, Coach.
Not in year 3.
Hampton lost to William & Mary convincingly. That was to be expected as well. And then you got A&T losing to a 500 Campbell team. Yeah. And then with, Tennessee State go, hosting Tennessee Tech at home.
What did I tell you about Tennessee State?
And they get Coach, you said it. You called this one. I can't argue with you. You told me they were catfish from the very beginning. You said they were feasting off good programs who are having a down year, and eventually, those chickens will come home to roost. And Coach, you were absolutely right, Coach.
They finished second to last with a 6-5 record.
Yeah.
And the 5 teams they beat, they didn't win 10 games.
Wow. And then you got Mississippi Valley on lost to Alabama A&M on Thursday. Looks like that win is going to keep Cornell Maynor employed at Alabama A&M. It looks like him and the offensive coordinator are the only 2 people that are going to keep their job. Look like there's going to be some significant turnover over there, Coach. And so, which brings us to this slide right here, which is can coaches in the HBCU. Of course, we have none other than Eric Dooley, who was just on our show earlier. If you guys would like to see the interview after we finish this live, you can go back and replay it. Eric Dooley is on the show from about the 8:15, the 15-minute mark, and he gave us at least 20 minutes. Really classy guy, really great interview. Then we have the guy from Morehouse. That job is going to be open. And then, of course, your alma mater, and your name will always come up every time. Well, put it like this: your name has been coming up while people have had the job, and now that it's vacant, I'm sure it's going to come up even more. And then we have Coach Slater from Clark, Atlanta. He's been let go as well. So so far, it's 4 coaches that are let go that I'm aware of in HBCU football. Do you think, Coach, there will be more guys let go as we get through the holiday season?
Yeah, you got Johnson C. Smith.
Okay.
And I've just found out that the Clark job will be filled. Allen University.
Wow.
Staff. So Allen University will be open. Of course, Chennis Berry at Benedict most likely would not be at Benedict. He'll be probably somewhere else. So we just looking out to see where he's going to end up at.
Okay. All right, Coach. Like I say, we've covered this quite a bit, Coach, but losing a job is tough, not only for the coach, but for his family and his assistant coaches, Coach. You've been fortunate in your coaching career. You've been promoted a lot and moved on to other staffs. But what is going through the head assistant coach's mind as the head coaches let go?
I've never seen. One of the things I hear sometimes, we talk about hiring staffs. And I keep telling these guys, when you're hiring staffs, stop hiring all these young guys on the staff. You got to hire some folks in there that know either more than you or just as enough. But their answer to that is, well, I don't want to hire my replacement. Well, I guarantee you nobody on Dooley's staff is going to get that head job. Nobody on Slater's staff going to get that head job. And nobody on Coach McKinney's staff is going to get that head job. You need to make sure, and these athletic directors, make sure when you hire these head coaches that they know what they're going to get as far as hiring assistant coaches. Because it's really, at the end of the day, the assistant coaches coach the team. The head coach coaches the coaches. He oversees the coaches. And so you got to surround yourself with coaches and choosing a head coach. I know at my alma mater, Coach, I like to say that we need to hire a Texas Southern guy. If it's not me, then who? We got, Brett Maxey out there. We got Durrell Colbert out there. We got James Jones. We got some Texas Southern guys that's out there. And we need to hire a Texas Southern guy, because we keep bringing all these guys from the outside to try to run our program. And Texas Southern is a special place, Coach. And I really, truly, honestly think that Texas Southern is the best program in the SWAC. You're sitting in a city of 4 million people. You 10, 15 minutes from downtown. You got all these Fortune 500 companies that's sitting around there. You got 150 high schools within 50 miles of the school, But we continue to go outside, for the since I've been there since 1981, we keep going outside. We go outside and get a president. We go outside to get a head football coach, vice president. Texas Southern has graduated some great people. Texas Southern has been one of the second largest universities. I know when I was there, one campus only. So we put out a lot of graduates. and I keep telling my people at alumni, people give money to people. Bill Cosby didn't go to Morehouse, Clark, Stillman. He went to Temple. But he met these people in his career, black folks in his career, so he was able to give money back. Denzel Washington didn't go to Morehouse, but he sent his kid there. People give money to people, and at my school, we don't like each other, Coach. For some reason. For some reason, we feel that we need to go outside, and we got some great coaches that has came through the university and has went on and done some good things. And I just really feel that we need, especially at this time, we got the alumni boiling. We came off some bad seasons. We paid two gentlemen that coached on the Division 1A level, that knew football. Coach McKinney, he knew football. And the coach before him, I can't think of his name. You know who I'm talking about. Coached at Notre Dame, Texas, LSU, Miami University. Actually won the MAC conference. You know what I'm saying? Would you say that guy knows football?
Oh yeah, Coach. He definitely knows football.
But does he know HBCU culture? I ain't saying football, because football is the same. The field is still 100 yards long, 50 yards wide. You know what I'm saying? And folks holler. I see somebody say, "TSU need a campus, a football stadium on campus." You got to win. You can't be a perennial loser and ask for stuff. You got to win. And we gave our, even as the athletic director, we finally got it right of hiring one of our own as the athletic director. And he's making some moves, and he understands the Texas Southern way. But of course, when I was there, we had a great football program going. The athletic department, who didn't have our best interests at hand, so, and he made some moves, administrator made some moves that were wrong moves, Coach. They backfired on us.
Absolutely, Coach.
I mean, in 13 years since I've been gone, Coach, we 35 and 96.
Wow.
35 and 96. We hired Kevin Ramsey. Great coach, great defensive coordinator. He was my defensive coordinator, finished top in the country. Coached at Tennessee, Georgia. He know football. Okay? Then we went and got Durrell Ashbury, coached over with Jackson State. Coach at Jackson State, came from South University, but he didn't understand Texas Southern culture. He didn't understand Texas, And then we got Mike Haywood, and that's who I want to say. Me and Mike started this game together. Mike coached at great schools. I say LSU, Michigan State. He didn't know Texas Southern culture, And then, of course, we got Clarence McKinney, who done the best he could do. Those players loved it. But at the end of the day, Coach, you got to win.
You got to win, Coach.
You can't go ask alumni for money when you don't win. You can't go ask alumni for money when you don't do what you're supposed to do with the money. You know what I mean?
Hey, Coach.
So there we go, Coach. I just wanted to get that out.
No, absolutely, Coach. Now, moving forward, there's some huge games. We don't have a lot of games this week on week 13, but we got some big games, some huge games. No, though this not is a huge game in the football, determining the outcome of the SWAC. But many years, this game determined who would be the SWAC champion right here. But this is a big game, a huge game culturally, Coach. Can you explain what this game, and can some of our callers call in and explain what the Bayou Classic means culturally for those people like me who are just getting into it? You got a guy that says this one is the granddaddy of them all.
I coached in this game under Pete Richardson 3 straight years, and we beat Pete Richardson is the only coach that beat Grambling every year. And we had 75,000, coach. 75,000 up in the dome. And it fell off. You know, when you get rid of a Doug Williams, you know, in the middle of the year, which is following Grambling, then now Grambling is hiring all these different guys. The game fell off. Southern has always been Southern. They're going to show up. You know what I mean? And when Grambling got away from hiring Grambling people, like your Melvin Spears and your Doug Williams and your Fobs, stuff fall off, coach. But this is a big, huge game. This is Louisiana, coach. This is gumbo. Who makes the best gumbo? Who makes the best boudin? Who fries the best turkeys? Coach, this is huge. I loved it, this game. You can feel the intensity, coach, of this game.
I've heard people explain that this is not like some rivalries where it's a war, where it's people who hate each other. This is a family affair. This is like your country cousins coming to the city is what this is from a Southern night now. So I'm not, don't take me wrong. This is like when your country cousins come to the city and you spend time with your country cousins in the city. That's what this is like. This is not about hate. This is not about any of that. Of course, they're going to talk noise just like they do at the domino and the spades table at the family reunion or during the holidays. But at the end of the day, this is a celebration of Black culture.
This is the flavor and the culture of Black college football. And we've got away from that. We started trying to run and be like PWI. Eddie Robinson used to get up on that microphone on pregame show, man, and he have everybody falling out. Marino Casum and those guys used to get on that mic, man, and they have everybody falling out, coach. People came to see the coaches as well as the great players that played in this game, coach. You know, I got to get Doug Williams on to talk about this game with him. You know, great friend of mine. But coach, this game is just one of the top games that you throw the records out. Throw the records out, coach. You know, both teams gonna play hard. Both teams gonna get after it, and I take my hat off to both schools. And what the Sugar Bowl is doing, and the New Orleans is trying to get people and raise money. They had a big banquet just the other day to get this game back going where it should be, because they make money off this game. The city of New Orleans used to bank off this game, coach. It be jam-packed like the Sugar Bowl.
Well, this is one. So, coach, I'm familiar with this game. Because my one of my sisters graduated from Southern, and the other reason why, coach, I'm familiar with this game is because they used to play this game on television each and every year
on ABC.
On ABC, coach, and I think they still do, if I'm not mistaken. And this is one of the games where you could get the black. They got the bands, the Black college culture. It's a lot of pageantry around this game. This is one of the bigger games in Black college football. Unfortunately, this year there's nothing on the line other than the culture, but I think that's what Southern was frustrated with this game not meaning anything, and unfortunately, Coach Dooley won't get to coach in the Bayou Classic, and let me ask you this, Coach, as we talk about this, what is the mindset of letting a coach go before the end of the season? Why would you do that as an administrator moving forward?
Well, sometimes, it depends on the administrator. If he's got a small group, and you're going in the season and you have some idea of what you want to do with the program, you should. Because if you're putting pressure on the coach and he don't meet his expectations, then you got a small window to go out and try to get the best coach before somebody else gets it, and that's one of the reasons why that you would let a coach go, or some is going so horrible in the program that you got to immediately move that person out of that position, so you can move forward, because it all depends on recruiting as well. The quicker you move that coach out, the quicker you can get another coaching staff in, get their stuff established, and won't waste a recruiting year. So all that has something to do with it as well. And then, of course, the things behind the scenes where the head coaches are talking to the administration, and maybe the meeting blows up. And then somebody said, look, we need to get rid of this guy right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, this next game, Coach, as you alluded to earlier, NCCU did get a berth in the FCS playoffs. They play their first round opponent is the Richmond Spiders. The interesting thing about the Richmond Spiders, they've already played 3 HBCUs and have lost to 2 of them. They're 8-3, but 2 of their losses are to HBCUs, Morgan State and Hampton, for which both of them, those schools, are in the MEAC. So with that being said, Coach, what do you think about NCCU's chances traveling to Richmond to get the victory?
Well, first of all, you got to travel to Richmond. And I remember when we were at Tennessee State, we went to the FCS playoffs, and, they bid on those games, Rocky. It's about money. They bid on those games. They don't go by the record, because if they went by the record, you would think that North Carolina Central, they would be visiting North Carolina Central instead of Central going there. So that's the money issue, and that's the money part for people wondering why North Carolina Central is going to Richmond. So, we believe in Trey Oliver. I think he'll have his kids ready to rock and roll, to go. And, this is a big game for the Black college culture, HBCUs. We all need to be behind NCCU, and hopefully they get after it and go to round 2.
Well, Coach, let me ask you this. With Richmond already losing to 2 HBCUs, is this win going to have the impact that normally an HBCU win in the playoffs would be, with these schools already have losing to Hampton, which is in the CAA? I was corrected by Clarence Kenny. Thank you very much, Clarence, for correcting me on that. And a Morgan State team that's really finished middle of the pack in the MEAC. Is this win going to?
I think anytime a HBCU beat a PWI school, it's a feather in our cap, because so oftentimes we don't, whether it's the playoff or whether it's the regular season, we don't beat PWIs on a regular basis. There's only been one head coach that done that, and that's been LC Cole at Tennessee State back in the 90s. So anytime that we get an opportunity to beat a PWI, it had to go off to that coaching staff, and had hopefully that it would give HBCUs respect that we do coach football over here.
Now, Coach, let me ask you this: we won't have to, provided NCCU wins, we won't have to ask that question whether the impact of NCCU beating the Idaho team, because that's who's waiting on them on the other side is, if I'm not mistaken, Idaho. And if they defeat, I think it's Idaho. I may be wrong about that, but there's no doubt about it. If they beat a team like Idaho, then that's traveling cross country, probably playing in one of the premier, coming out of one of the premier. Oh, Albany. My correction, Albany. They're going to play the University of Albany. Historically,
that's up in New York. Ain't that up in New York?
Yeah.
It's gonna be cold.
Yeah, it's gonna be cold.
And like I said, anytime, man, that you get in that playoffs, coach, man, it's an experience, Rocky. We went 2 years in a row at Tennessee State. It's just experience, man, that's out of this world, man. Just how they treat you. It's chance, you travel, fly in there. It's just a great treat, man. And those people treat you so well. And then you get to see the difference between these PWI schools and your school. You get to see the difference. I'm gonna take one out your book. You got your hand on the money sign.
Oh yeah.
They take football serious. They take football serious. Even at that level. They take the money that they have and they make the best of it. And they don't waste the money. They don't waste it. They put it back into the program and make sure that program is big time. And
Clarence Kenny is saying that Morgan gave Albany a pretty tough game, 14-7. So, again, but NCCU has to get through this game. This is definitely a winnable game, Coach, with Davius Richards and NCCU has a chance in this game, and I can't wait to watch it on Saturday. I'm looking forward to it, watching the game on Saturday. Coach, in our last game that we'll highlight this week is a Division II playoff game. And if I'm mistaken, this is the only black school in Division II that's in the playoffs. This is Benedict against Lenoir-Rhyne. And what do you think about this one, Coach? Well, this is a big game for Chennis Berry of Benedict. To get some respect that, some people say, well, he's beating the best of the worst. He's been 10-0 2 straight years back to back. It's a big game. It's a big game for him on directing probably where he want to go. You hear his name flying up everywhere. It's a big game for him, without a doubt. And I hear Benedict is doing some things to try to keep him there. And I would too if I was the AD or the president. So, where is Lenoir-Rhyne located, Coach? Where is that school located? That's a good question, Coach. I've heard of the school, but I don't know where it's located. Okay. If any of you guys out there, any of you human encyclopedias know where Lenoir-Rhyne is located, please let me know. I'd love to know where this school is. I've heard of the school. I just don't know where they're located. So, Yeah. Hey, Coach, this has been another amazing show, Coach. And for this, for those of y'all, if y'all wonder, we're taking all of the HBCUs. Oh, okay, Coach. We know we're gonna take the HBCUs in this game and those other games, but in this game, who you got, Coach? Oh, you got to go with Grambling, man. Southern going in the game with no general. So, but Terrence Graves, he coached Grambling last year and they won. So now he's on the Southern side, taking over their job. Again. So, is he gonna be 2-0 or is he gonna be 1-1? I don't know. Hey, Coach, I think I'm with you on this one. I'll take Grambling. Hey, Coach, this has been an amazing show, Coach. Again, earlier we want to also thank Coach Eric Dooley for coming on and spending some time with us, answering some questions, and really sharing with us how his experience was at Southern. We recognize that it's these are the holidays, and he just recently was removed from his job, and so it was gracious of him to come on the show and talk about his experience on Southern, Coach. And so this is another great show. We'll be back here next week. And let me say this. Lenoir-Rhyne is in Hickory, North Carolina. In Hickory, North Carolina. Right. And I always remember before we get off, the only thing about firing those coaches
if you do not have a winner in mind to replace them, with the results will be the same with a different face. That's the coach. If you don't have nobody to replace the losing coach, and then you get back out there and you're trying to shuffle around and find a guy, you 9 times out of 10, you're going to find the wrong guy. You know what I'm saying?
Sybil Wilkes with what you need to know. Today, it's Monday, March 25th, 2024. Number 1. After months and months of stopgap measures to keep federal departments working, President Biden signed a $1.2 trillion bill Saturday to keep the government open through September of 2024. The late Friday night, early Saturday morning bipartisan vote passed in the Senate 74-24. As reported, the more than 1,000-page bill will provide funding for the Departments of Defense, Homeland Security, Labor, Health and Human Services, Education, State, and the legislative branch. Number 2, Attorney General Merrick Garland announced a lawsuit last week against one of the world's largest giants, Apple. According to the Department of Justice, the antitrust lawsuit alleges that Apple has a monopoly over smartphones by selectively imposing contractual constrictions on and withholding critical access points from developers. The U.S. government is seeking a ruling that will make Apple conduct business in a fair manner by providing a more seamless integration with other technology companies. Number 3. Hidradenitis suppurativa, HS, also known as acne inversa, is a chronic skin condition affecting many individuals globally. According to the Mayo Clinic, women are 3 times more likely to develop this acne inversa, and Black people are more likely to develop acne inversa than people of other races. Despite its significant effect on those living with the condition, acne inversa continues to be poorly understood. Read more about it in today's newsletter. Number 4. In 1969, Sarah Ann Shaw became the first Black female reporter on television news in Boston, Massachusetts, and worked at WBZ-TV for more than 30 years. Madam Shaw died at her home March 21st at the age of 90. Born in Roxbury, Shaw became a trailblazer in news media because she reported on stories about the greater Black community. Her biography at Roxbury Community College says that Shaw is remembered for special reports on positive contributions made by Black, Asian, and Latino residents of Massachusetts. May she rest in peace. Number 5. What is God's grace and mercy? Grace is receiving something you don't deserve, while mercy is not receiving something you deserve. No matter what you've done, good or bad, you can obtain God's grace and mercy. Jesus said in Hebrews 4:16, "Let us therefore come boldly unto the throne of grace, that we may obtain mercy and find grace to help in time of need." Read more about the grace and mercy of God in today's newsletter. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Being loving creates a ripple effect, where acts of kindness and empathy inspire others to do the same. Join me today live on YouTube and Facebook at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central with our social justice contributor, Coy Malone, as we discuss today's top headlines and more. Thank you to our What You Need to Know partners, the American Heart Association and Black Health Matters. I'm Sybil Wilkes. Be informed, be empowered.
My name is and I won $500 on the lunch money for keeping up with the Jonas Bracket Challenge.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.